My name is Flashisaac, and I'm a teacher from the future. When I was much younger, I saw thousands and thousands of people fail Jamb and unable to gain admission. This made me travel in time. Now I am back with a Flashlearners Jamb app and a series on YouTube tagged 120 Days to Jamb. My mission is to help you blast Jamb and as well get justice for everyone who Jamb has served breakfast. This is episode number 25 of the 120 Days to Jamb Economics with Flashisaac. In this episode, we shall be looking at questions under demand theory and elasticity of demand. This is not the first episode to focus on that, neither the second or even the third. So far, we started from the bottom. We are using the Flashlearners Jamb app for questions and answers. How about you get one for yourself? Look at this question. Which of the following matters may account for changes in demand? Up to now, we've been able to establish that we have change in demand and we have change in quantity demanded. Anytime you hear price, then you are dealing with change in quantity demanded. So, when there is no price, every other factor they affect change in demand, which means the income of the consumers, the weather condition, availability of substitutes, increase in population, and favorable weather conditions and other factors that are not price related, they lead to shift in demand. Change in demand is also referred to as shift in demand, while change in quantity demanded is referred to as movement along the demand curve. So, option I, changes in consumers' preference. II, changes in real income. III, changes in distribution of incomes. IV, changes in levels of taxation. Now, looking at all these factors listed, there is no one that directly speaks of the price of commodity. So, since no one talks about the price of commodity, which means they can all affect or account for changes in demand, they are all correct. That makes option D the correct option. And the question here says, an increase in the price of a commodity will result in dash. Listen, an increase in the price of a commodity will result in dash. A, an increase in quantity demanded. B, an increase in demand. C, a decrease in quantity demanded. And D, a decrease in demand. Anytime you hear price, change in demand should not even come to your mind. Change in demand is in two types. Change in demand is in two types. Increase in demand and decrease in demand. Once you don't hear quantity, it means they are talking about change in demand. So, option B and option D, they talk about change in demand. And since price is being talked about, option B and D are out of it. Now, in a real sense, what will happen when price increases? As price increases, there will be a decrease in quantity demanded. So, option C, a decrease in quantity demanded, results in an increase in price of commodity. C is the correct option. And look at the next question. Listen very, very carefully. The demand for labor is an example of A, competitive demand. B, derived demand. C, composite demand. And D, joint demand. When you demand something not for direct use but for further processing, that is a derived demand. The demand for factors of production is under derived demand. What are the factors of production? Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur or enterprises. Now, the demand for labor is an example of a derived demand. Take note of that. For derived demand, you are not getting stuffs for immediate consumption. You need it for further processing or for further production or to produce something else, not to meet your immediate needs. That answers the question. And this question says, which of the following is an example of derived demand? A. Tax relief. B. Labor. C. Wages increase. And D. Entertainment. Out of all these, labor is an example of a derived demand. And here it says, if two commodities are unrelated, a change in price of one will dash. If we have okay, phone, and we have chairs in your house. Now, if the price of phone goes to 2 million naira, how does it affect the price of garri in the market? Right? Let me even use garri. So garri. Now, if the price of chairs goes to 5 million naira, that's if my million is correct, how does it affect the price of garri in the market? So all these are unrelated. So if this one let it stop, increase or decrease, it does not affect the other ones. So for unrelated products, change in price will not change anything. So let's see the options. Option A says, have effect on the quantity demanded for the order. That's wrong. B, have no effect on the quantity demanded of the order. No effect at all. B is correct. C, increase in the quantity demanded on the order. D, a decrease in the quantity demanded on the order. So long they are related, anything that happens to one does not even happen to the other one at all. If a 10% rise in price causes a 5% decrease in quantity demanded of a commodity, price %5. This simply means that a bigger reduction in price or a bigger increase in price, a bigger rise in price is leading to small change in quantity demanded. So if the rise in price is bigger than the change in quantity demanded, that is an inelastic demand. Inelastic. Now, a situation where the change in price is smaller than change in quantity. Let's say price changes by just 5% and quantity changes by 10%. This is fairly elastic or relatively elastic. If price changes by 10% and quantity demanded changes by 10%, exactly the same, that is unitary elastic or unit elastic. Please take note of all that. For perfectly inelastic or zero elastic, the price doesn't even affect the quantity. It is parallel to the y-axis, something like this. This is perfectly inelastic or zero elastic. You see, this is y-axis, this is s-axis, so it is parallel with the y-axis. Now, a situation where the price is not changing but quantity is changing. If price is constant like this and quantity keep changing, for here you have a line that is parallel to the s-axis, parallel to s-axis. This is infinite elastic or perfectly elastic. Take note of all these terms. So in this case, a 10% rise in price caused a 5% decrease in quantity demanded. So that is simply inelastic because the coefficient of elasticity of demand is less than 1. In this case, change in quantity demanded, elasticity of demand is equals change in quantity demanded is 5%, change in price 10%, because elasticity of demand is percentage change in quantity demanded 5%, percentage change in price 10%. This will be 0.5. Since it is less than 1, it is inelastic because an increase in price leads to fall in quantity demanded. A type of elasticity of demand that runs parallel to axis of S is called dash. Listen, a type of price elasticity of demand that runs parallel to axis of S is called dash. Where is it? This one is running parallel to S axis, as you can see. So this is infinitely elastic or perfectly elastic. Now the one that is running parallel to Y axis is zero elastic or perfectly inelastic. Now the question we answered earlier, where a bigger change in price is leading to a small change in quantity demanded, this is a fairly inelastic or relatively inelastic, so not perfectly. So take note of all that. And this is the law of demand can be expressed as dash. A, quantity demanded is a function of price. That is correct because that is the law of demand function. Demand function says that quantity demanded is a function of price, which means price is what affects quantity demanded. So every other option you are seeing, they are not correct about the law of demand or about demand function. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, can we say we come to the end of this episode? Yes. And how about you get the Flashlearners Jamb app and start playing with questions offline? That will be excellent. See you in the next episode where we shall be saying bye-bye to demand theory and elasticity of demand.